Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving into a story that feels, I don't know, like ripped right out of a history book.
Yeah.
But this is a true story.
Yeah.
It's the story of Abdelkrim al-Khattabi,
Mm-hmm.
the Lion of the Rif. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Lion of the Rif, where is that? Well, we're going to the mountains,
Yes.
the rugged mountains of Morocco
Mm-hmm.
in the early 20th century, early 1900s.
Right.
And our mission today is to really try to uncover how this scholar, he's a scholar,
Yeah.
transformed into a revolutionary.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he leads this rebellion against all these colonial powers.
He did.
And get this, he actually created a republic.
The Republic, yeah.
A republic. So it's not just dates and battles, right? We're going to try to explore the tactics,
The impacts.
the impact, the ripple effects, things that still resonate today.
Definitely. I mean, what's fascinating about this whole story is how Abdelkrim's life really kind of mirrors the whole struggle for independence in North Africa. He kind of was born into these two worlds. He was born into this prominent Berber family, so he had that going for him. But he was also fluent in Arabic, Spanish. He even mastered French.
A trilingual talent.
Yes.
But he wasn't just, book smart.
Oh, no.
He actually worked within the colonial system at first.
He did.
He was part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He held all these positions like teacher, judge, even a journalist.
Wow.
I mean, imagine having that resume.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he really did.
So wild.
So he had a firsthand, inside look
Yeah.
at how the Spanish administration worked. And I think that's really crucial to understanding how he became so successful as a rebel leader later.
It's almost like he was gathering intel. The whole time, he was seeing the cracks in the system.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we have this multilingual, multi-talented scholar who understands the colonial system, inside and out.
Yeah.
What radicalized him? Was there a specific event
Right?
that made him ditch, the courtroom for the battlefield?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a single event. It was more like a growing awareness over time of
Sure.
all these injustices that the Berber people were facing.
Right.
Under Spanish rule, think about it. You've got heavy taxes,
Yeah.
land grabs, violence against civilians, just this constant pressure to assimilate,
Mhm.
to erase their identity.
So for someone like Abdelkrim, who understood both Berber culture and the nuances of colonial law,
Yeah.
to see all these abuses, it must have been infuriating.
Oh, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And at first, he was all about peaceful resistance, working within the system to try to make a change. But as all these abuses continued, he just realized that true liberation, that wasn't going to come through negotiations.
Right.
That was going to come through action, through resistance.
Wow. So from scholar to rebel leader.
Exactly.
Makes me think of other figures in history, who kind of followed that same path.
Definitely.
Intellectuals who felt compelled to take up arms to fight oppression.
Yeah.
But what was that turning point, that moment where Abdelkrim just said, enough's enough, I'm fighting back?
So the year is 1921.
Okay.
The Spanish, under General Silvestre, they make this turns out to be a very fateful decision. They decided to march right into the Rif Mountains with, get this, almost 20,000 soldiers.
Wow.
Aiming to, crush any sign of rebellion. Now remember, this is the early 20th century. The Spanish, they've got modern weaponry, machine guns, artillery, the whole works. They thought they had this overwhelming advantage.
Classic colonial hubris.
Yes, underestimating your opponent,
Yeah.
assuming technological superiority is going to equal victory.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Abdelkrim, he understood something they didn't. He understood the power of the terrain.
Oh.
He knew every single nook and cranny of the Rif Mountains.
Right.
And he knew how to use that to his advantage.
Okay, I'm already picturing this David and Goliath scenario
Yeah.
brewing in the mountains. What happens next?
The Battle of Annual.
Correct.
Truly pivotal moment in the history of anti-colonial resistance.
Right.
Okay, so you've got Abdelkrim and his Berber forces, many of them armed with these outdated rifles.
Wow.
Some even with traditional weapons. And they lured the Spanish into this narrow pass. It became this devastating trap.
Wait, hold on. So they actually defeated a modern army with outdated weapons.
They did.
How is that even possible?
Well, it all comes down to strategy,
Okay.
terrain,
Yeah.
and sheer determination.
Yeah.
Abdelkrim's forces, they used guerrilla tactics, ambushing the Spanish. They exploited their unfamiliarity with the mountains, and they turned that technological advantage
Right.
against them.
Wow. I'm imagining the chaos, like the surprise.
Oh, yeah.
How bad was the defeat for the Spanish?
I mean, let's just say it sent shockwaves throughout Europe. The Spanish lost almost 13,000 soldiers. Thousands more were captured.
Wow.
I mean, it was a humiliating defeat for them, a complete reversal of expectations. And it instantly transformed Abdelkrim into a legend, not just in the Rif, but across the entire Arab world.
That's an incredible victory against all odds.
It is.
But this wasn't just about, like repelling invaders.
Right.
There was like a larger vision at play.
Definitely.
You know.
You're absolutely right. Abdelkrim didn't just want to win battles. He wanted to build something new.
Yeah.
Something lasting.
Okay, and that's where the Republic comes in.
Right. That's right.
The first of its kind in the Arab world.
It was. So following that victory at Annual, he declares the formation of the Republic of the Rif.
Bold.
I know, think about it. A functioning government.
Yeah.
Established right in the heart of colonial territory.
Wow.
They established schools, hospitals, a disciplined army, all while upholding their traditional Berber customs.
This is huge. This isn't just a rebellion anymore. This is a statement.
It is.
This is like a blueprint for self-determination.
Absolutely.
How did the colonial powers react to this?
I mean, imagine their shock. The Spanish are reeling from their defeats.
Right.
The French, who controlled much of North Africa at the time,
Yeah.
they're suddenly faced with this dangerous precedent.
Right.
What if this idea of a republic, of self-rule, what if that spread to their colonies?
So the Lion of the Rif, who started as like this thorn in the side of the Spanish,
Yes.
became like a shared enemy, a symbol of resistance.
Yes.
That threatened like the entire colonial order.
Precisely. And this newfound enemy had just proven his ability to defeat a major European power.
Yeah.
So the question was, could he withstand the combined might of two empires?
Ooh,
Right.
this is getting good.
It is.
I can't wait to hear what happens next.
I know, it's a wild ride.
Okay, so we've got Abdelkrim, this scholar turned warrior, and he's standing defiant against not one but two empires.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where like the underdog story starts to feel almost,
Mythical.
yeah, mythical. What did this combined might actually look like?
Okay, so picture this. Over 300,000 soldiers.
Oh, wow.
Armed with, like all the latest military technology of the time.
Yeah.
You've got tanks rumbling through the mountains, aircraft like soaring overhead.
Wow.
And this is where it gets really kind of horrifying. They use poison gas.
Poison gas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole new level of brutality.
It was.
It's hard to even imagine facing that kind of like onslaught.
It was a turning point in warfare, really, sadly, not just in the Rif, but globally.
Yeah.
The French and the Spanish, they were determined to crush this republic no matter the cost.
Right.
I mean, they just bombarded villages, causing all this widespread destruction and immense suffering.
So Abdelkrim and his fighters are now facing an enemy that's not only larger, but they're equipped with, weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
So, I mean, it seems like an impossible situation.
It was. It absolutely was.
Yeah.
But remember, Abdelkrim and his forces, they had something that the Europeans didn't.
Okay.
And that was an intimate knowledge of the terrain.
Okay.
They knew those mountains like the back of their hands.
Yeah.
And they were masters of guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run attacks, ambushes, using the landscape itself as a weapon.
Right.
They made it incredibly difficult for the enemy to gain a foothold.
It's almost like they were fighting a different kind of war.
Yes.
All together, while the Europeans relied on, brute force and technology,
Yeah.
the Riffians used agility and strategy and their deep connection to the land.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it worked for a while. And
Yeah.
they actually managed to hold off these powerful empires
Wow.
for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
That's astonishing.
Mhm.
It speaks to, like, the resilience of the Riffians, their commitment to their republic.
Absolutely.
But I imagine there's, like, a limit to how long you can hold out against such a massive force.
Yeah. Sadly, you're right.
Yeah.
Even the bravest hearts can only hold out for so long against such overwhelming odds,
Right.
And for Abdelkrim, it wasn't just about military strategy.
Right.
It was about protecting his people.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is where we get to the tragic part of the story.
It is.
What ultimately happened to the Rif Republic.
In 1926, Abdelkrim, he made this agonizing decision
Yeah.
to surrender to the French.
Wow.
He knew his people were suffering,
Yeah.
and he couldn't bear to see any more bloodshed.
Right.
You know, it was a selfless act, really, putting their well-being above his own freedom.
To surrender after fighting so hard, it must have been just like a heartbreaking choice.
I'm sure it
What
was.
happened to him after the surrender?
He was exiled, first to Reunion Island in
Okay.
the Indian Ocean and later to Egypt.
But even in exile, his spirit, like, remained unbroken, right?
It did.
Yeah.
He became this powerful voice for these anti-colonial movements worldwide,
Right.
a symbol of resistance, who continued to inspire others to fight for their freedom.
It's amazing how his influence transcended borders.
I know.
You know, from a scholar in the Rift Mountains to like a global symbol of resistance.
It's amazing.
It really makes you think about the lasting power of ideas
Yeah,
and how one person's struggle can, like, resonate across continents
absolutely.
and inspire generations.
He really does.
It highlights, how interconnected the world was becoming even back then.
Definitely. And the fight for freedom in the Rif, it resonated with those struggling against colonialism in Asia, Africa, and beyond. I mean,
Yep.
Abdelkrim's story became this reminder that even the most powerful empires,
Right.
they could be challenged,
Yeah.
that resistance was possible.
So we've gone from scholar to rebel leader
Yes.
to the founder of a republic
Right.
to a symbol of global resistance.
I mean, it's an epic journey.
It really is.
It is.
What would you say is, like, the most enduring part of Abdelkrim's legacy today?
I think it's the unwavering belief he had in his people and their right to self-determination. I mean, he faced impossible odds,
Yeah.
but he never gave up on that dream
Right.
of a free and independent Rif.
Yeah.
And even in defeat, he never stopped advocating for the rights of colonized people worldwide.
It's a powerful message,
It is.
especially in a world where, so many are still fighting for their freedom and self-determination.
Absolutely.
But it also raises some, like, tantalizing what ifs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what if Abdelkrim had received more international support?
Right.
Could the Rif Republic have survived?
It's a question historians still debate today.
Yeah.
Imagine if other nations had actually recognized the Rif Republic,
Yeah.
provided them with aid and diplomatic support. Would the course of history in North Africa have been different?
Right.
I mean, it's a fascinating thought experiment.
It is.
It really speaks to the complexities of global politics and how even the most valiant struggles can just get crushed under the weight of empires.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you realize, that history, it isn't always like a straight line.
Right.
You know what I mean? There are these moments of incredible possibility.
Absolutely.
These, like, flashes of what could be. And then, well, sometimes those possibilities just get, I don't know, snuffed out.
Yeah.
But the impact, the inspiration,
They linger.
they linger. Yeah.
They do.
It's true.
And Abdelkrim's story, I think it highlights how important it is to, understand history from multiple perspectives.
Right.
I mean, we often only hear the narratives of empires,
Yeah.
the grand victories, the conquests.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the stories of those who resisted,
Right. Yeah.
who fought for their freedom against all odds?
Totally.
Those stories, I think they deserve to be told, too.
It's striking how Abdelkrim's journey took him from the classroom to the courtroom to the battlefield.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a scholar, a lawyer, a military strategist, a diplomat. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, had circumstances been different, could he have been like a nation builder in peacetime?
That's a really interesting question. I
Yeah.
think, his intellectual curiosity and
Yep.
his deep understanding of, both Western and Berber culture,
Right.
it would have made him an exceptional leader
Yeah,
in any context.
totally.
But it was those fires of resistance that
Yeah.
really forged him into
Yeah.
the line of the Rif.
And that fire continues to burn bright, even today.
It does.
His story, I think it serves as an inspiration
I agree.
to those who are still fighting for their rights, for their freedom,
Yeah.
all over the world.
All over the world, yeah.
And it reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming power, resistance is never futile.
That's right.
Never futile.
And that the legacy of those who, fight for justice,
Yeah.
self-determination,
It-
it lives on.
It lives on.
Even if their dreams aren't fully realized, in their own lifetime.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been, I got to say, an incredibly insightful
It has been.
deep dive.
It has.
Abdelkrim al-Khattabi, The Line of the Rif. I mean,
What a story.
What a story. A name, a story that I won't soon forget.
And I know, me neither.
And for our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity
Yes.
to explore this further.
It is due. Dig into the history.
Yeah, dig into the history of the Rif War, learn about, the complexities of colonialism,
Absolutely.
and discover, all these other unsung heroes who fought for freedom and self-determination.
Yes.
All around the world.
Around the world.
It's a reminder that history is full of these, hidden stories.
I agree.
These, forgotten struggles.
It is.
Just waiting to be unearthed.
It's true.
So keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning and keep diving deep.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do here.
That's right.